going on, Jerome's? So the divisional round is in the books, and the NFL's Final Four is set, and we have 10 truths from around the National Football League on Tell the Truth Monday, and some are rough, but we tell the truth here. Number one, the Lions are going to be good. So now we're just sitting, waiting, wishing that the Lions would be a flash in the pan, media creation, same old sorry-ass Lions, but Brad Holmes is an excellent GM. Dan Campbell is a hell of a head coach motivator, and Ben Johnson deserves a head coaching job. Aaron Glenn deserves a head coaching job, and that team is talented in the trenches. They are deep, and they're tough. They're absolutely tough. So for the next couple of years, the Lions are going to be bad news, and the Packers are probably going to be good. Bears might be good. They have the Bears might land Caleb Williams. And the Vikings are going to have to step up their game, man. But the trenches are absolutely stacked. Frankly, I think they might have the best offensive line in football, especially since the Eagles are falling apart. And, I mean, they're 4 top draft picks, Jahmyr Gibbs, Laporta, Branch, and Campbell, which everyone, all the draft nerds just derided them. It's like, oh, how do you pick a running back, and an off-ball linebacker, and a tight end, and a safety with your first 4 picks? I mean, they're not considered premium positions, but all 4 of them are absolute dogs, man. And Gibbs led the team in rushing. Laporta led the team in receiving. Branch led the team in tackles. I love Brian Branch in the draft process, man. I wanted him to be a Viking so bad, but it is what it is, right? And, yeah, the Lions are going to be tough. I think that even though the Lions will probably ultimately lose the NFC title game out in San Francisco, they're a different breed of cat outdoors and on grass. I think that they will give San Francisco a game, and they're going to be tough for a while. Number 2, although I do want to see how they operate without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Number 2, Jordan Love is going to get paid. So Jordan Love, sat his ass behind Aaron Rodgers for a number of years, and I mean he really got things together towards the end of the season. Really showed up and showed out against the Cowboys. Gave it away now at the end against the Niners, but I feel like part of that is growing pains. But I mean, Jordan Love, they did a revised 1-year deal instead of the 5th-year option, but now Jordan Love is probably going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I think that he does have the leverage with the Packers to get himself into Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert money. And I know that half a season of good ball, that sounds ridiculous, except I do think that Jordan Love has a team by the tight ones here. So I think that Jordan Love is going to get paid. And is Jordan Love going to be elite? Well, so the Packers pass catching core, Watson, meh. Dubs, yes. Jaden Reed, definitely yes. And also I think Bo Melton could be a little something. And maybe it's just the number, number 80, but he sort of reminds me of Donald Driver, where Rutgers isn't really a small school. I think Driver came from Alcorn State, I want to say. It is a really small school, but coming out of nowhere, doing the dirty work, rising up, and just becoming a quarterback's favorite and a fan favorite. I mean, Bo Melton is going to be doing that, man. And also Rutgers. Well, I guess Rutgers is kind of a small school, whatever, but youngest team in the league. That defense, that front 7 is great. Man. Well, I hate everything. Number 3, Texans are going to be elite. So, happier notes. So, C.J. Stroud, even though Houston and Stroud got contained by the Ravens in the divisional round on Saturday, I mean, C.J. Stroud has proven that he is going to be quickly one of the best young quarterbacks in the game, and they got to develop an offensive line outside of Tunsil, and also get a little bit more of a run game going. But I think Nico Collins is absolutely legit. I think Tank Dell is going to be a dude. And defensively, I mean, they do have some nice pieces with Anderson, Stingley, and company. So I think that DeMeco Ryans, it's a great pairing. I think him and Stroud hit the ground running, and I think that they will be a very dangerous team for many, many years to come. Next up, number 4, the Niners will be fine. So San Francisco definitely showed a little bit of rust in Green Bay, and frankly, the Packers lost that game. The Niners didn't win this game, but the defense held up when it needed to. Drake Greenlaw was out there making plays all over the place. Often struggled in the rain, outside of McCaffrey, but no Debo. And Purdy, I mean, so during the draft process, like we always mock hand size, right? But I mean, it's kind of important, especially if you're an outdoor team, especially if you're a team that plays in inclement weather frequently. And I mean, it does rain in the Bay Area, and hand size and gripping that football. Brock Purdy does have smallish hands, smells like cabbage, so that could be a reason why there were some ducks out there. But San Francisco did sack up. They did put together a game-winning drive at the end. But the Niners will be fine. But also, I mean, all this talk about Brock Purdy being MVP, that's ludicrous. And I think that anyone who watches this team understands that. Like, he's a good distributor, but is he a guy that makes those around him better? No. Is he a guy that you will win because of? No. Is he a guy that you can win with? Yes. But also, did this team win in spite of Brock Purdy this weekend? Yes. I think all those things are true. So, I mean, could San Francisco be looking to upgrade quarterback? Because, frankly, I think if they wanted to trade Brock Purdy, I think that they could get a little something for him. But did the Niners trade Brock Purdy and finally sign Kirk Cousins? Does that happen? I don't know, man. But they are at home for the NFC title game. I think that defense will lock in, and I think they'll be perfectly fine, especially if Debo and that shoulder is good to go. Next up, number 5, Lamar is unfairly criticized. Now, I mean, all the Lamar haters and the losers were on full force when Houston and Baltimore were tied at 10 at halftime. But Baltimore, I mean, pulled away at the end. But Lamar, I mean, yes, a lot was made about his record going into the game at 1-3. He doesn't show up, blah, 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 blah. But Lamar showed up and showed out. And that Texans defense is no slouch. A 121.8 quarterback rating, a 93.9 QBR. That's out of 100. 100 yards rushing. Also 4 total touchdowns. I mean, If Josh Allen had that type of game, the media would be creaming. Same thing with Mahomes. Of course, Mahomes not a runner, but I think that everything is different in Baltimore this year. And Lamar, having Andrews back as well as likely, I like him a lot. Plus, Zay Flowers is a much better X factor out there as a receiver, and also they can consistently run the ball with Gus Bus and Justice Hill, and also Dalvin Cook. Let's go. Plus, I think that defense is hyper opportunistic. I think that their front seven is up there amongst the best in the league. I think Roquan and Queen are two of the best off balls in the game, if not the best duo. So, I mean, Baltimore's different this year. Lamar is different this year with Todd Monken. So I think that they will beat the Chiefs and Mahomes. It will not be easy on Sunday, but I think the Ravens will get it done. Number 6. Mahomes is undeniable. So as I just say, I think the Ravens get it done against the Chiefs. I do think Mahomes is undeniable. And the fact that he's doing this, that he was making clutch throw after clutch throw, where he has weapons. Like he has 3 receivers on his team that not only don't help the team win, they actively take away from the team. You look at MVS, you look at Kadarius Toney, and you look at Mecole Hardman. I mean, Mecole Hardman touched the ball twice yesterday, and he fumbled both times, and including 1 turnover. But, I mean, the Chiefs' defense eroded at times against the Bills. But, I mean, Mahomes just – it doesn't even matter what. Like, Jumpin' Joe Thuney went down. He's got weapons. I mean, Travis Kelce, yes, had 2 touchdowns, except it seems like he's mentally checked out. Maybe he's going to retire after the season. I mean, there's always talk about Andy Reid retiring after this year, but the Chiefs just get it done. And the fact that in every single year that Mahomes has been a starter, he's at least made it to the AFC title game. And also, this was the first road playoff game for Mahomes. Insane. Absolutely insane. And he just gets it done consistently, man. You have to respect it. Like, hey, yeah, his brother's the worst and his wife is annoying, but whatever. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, you have to respect the game. His dad is awesome, though. Sorry, Patrick Mahomes, former Pat Mahomes, former pitcher for the Twins. Number 7, Bills' window is closed. And Bills Mafia deserves better, and I think that there could be a cleaning of house in Buffalo. I don't know if Sean McDermott's job is safe. And even though they went on this great run at the end of the season after he embraced Allah, I don't know what's going to happen, man. But the Bills, you have $50 million over the cap, and the cap is a myth unless you're the Saints or the Bills. And Stephon Diggs is old. He's probably going to demand a trade. Von Miller is clearly washed. And Josh Allen is playing his ass off out there, but this is in general like a team that was all in. And now they're probably going to be all out, right? And it's not that the Bills aren't talented, is that they just keep running into the Chiefs and Mahomes. And it's tough, man. Because Bills Mafia, those fans definitely do deserve better, but yeah. Number 8, the Bears need to pick Caleb Williams. So I kind of thought about this. So for me, I do think that Drake May and Jaden Daniels do have their merits, potentially being QB1. But I think with seeing what Mahomes can do, and Caleb Williams is often compared to Mahomes. He's a better prospect than Mahomes. Well, Mahomes wasn't even the first quarterback drafted in his class. Calm down. But the Bears already have an idea what they have in Justin Fields. It's been 3 years, right? And if you don't know by now, are you ever going to know? Should you just surround him with more talent? Sure. But is he ever going to be a quarterback that you win because of, or is he a guy that you win with? It's like the Brock Purdy question, right? And I know that some Bears fans, some Justin Fields supporters say like, hey, if you gave him support just like Lamar Jackson, getting Lamar weapons, getting him an offensive line, getting him a running game, then Justin Fields could be just as good as Lamar. I don't necessarily believe that, but the whole thing about it is that, hey, Caleb Williams, even though he has his faults, even though he has his flaws, I think that he could be a guy that you win because of. I think that he could be a guy who's like a Patrick Mahomes. I think that he's a guy that is like a regular season Josh Allen. I think that he is a guy that's going to be like C.J. Stroud. I think that he's going to be a guy that could be elite. Could be, right? But also, if you trade away the number 1 overall pick and then Caleb Williams goes and blows up somewhere else, I mean, it's just another chapter of Bears screwing up the draft and screwing up the quarterback position. Number 9, Falcons could be elite. I'm actually a little bit scared of the Falcons for the next couple of years. So Belichick could end up in Atlanta. Harbaugh can end up in Atlanta, and it's easy to see why. Like, Arthur Blank is a good owner, and it does seem like there is a good situation there in Atlanta that Arthur Smith would just effing up. Just effing up, man. But, with Fontenot running things, and you have Kyle Pitts, you have Drake London, you have a decent pair of tackles in Matthews and McGarry, you got Bijan Robinson, and defensively, I mean, you got Jesse Bates III, you got some decent defensive pieces as well, and you're just a quarterback away. And this could be a spot. Hey, do they go after Kirk Cousins? Or in the draft, since they're sitting at 8, I mean, do they just stick and pick and take like a Penix Jr.? Do they take a McCarthy if Harbaugh goes to Atlanta for Michigan? I don't know, but are they the team that trades all the way up for number 1, or do they trade for Justin Fields? Which, I mean, bringing him back to Georgia could make some sense. I think Fields would have the support system and be great in Atlanta, but I think Atlanta could be a sleeper, and I think they could be a sleeping giant because they're going to get their coach. They're a destination spot right now. They're locked and loaded, and they're a quarterback away, and they potentially could be in position to add a quarterback. Next up, lastly, number 10. This is the biggest offseason in Vikings team history, where you see the arms race in the NFC North. The Bears could have number 1, the Bears could have all those draft picks. And also they have number 9. The Lions are going to be good. The Packers are going to be good. Jordan Love looks like he could be that guy. And the Vikings, I mean, last couple of years, they've sort of just been sitting. Like, yes, it is a competitive rebuild. Yes, they've shot some bad veteran contracts. Yes, they've taken some shots on some young guys. But the draft returns aren't as impressive as the Lions. And yes, injuries, and turnovers this year. And yes, they were 13-4, won the division 2 years ago. But what can you do now? And Holmes and Campbell have set the standard for what you do in year 3. And they're still doing it right now. And the Vikings, they got to find the quarterback of the future. They have to rebuild and reboot the trenches. And they got to go from there. Right? So there's a lot of things up in the air. I'm still super hopeful. And the NFC North is going to be very good for the foreseeable future, but bring it. Bring that ish on. We'll find our quarterback of the future. We'll build up our trenches, and we'll go from there, Ben. But that's it. That's Tan. Truths from around the league. Tell the Truth Monday. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.